More of the Rod Pederson Show.
Welcome back, everybody, on this Thursday. Canada's daytime sports talk show continues. Thanks for joining us for coffee today. Caliber Coffee here in the bunker. I mentioned we're going to talk hockey now, but we'll continue. We will continue all of our viewer comments and stuff. For instance, Dylan Uremko in Saskatoon's watching. He says, "Hey, Rod, are you coming out to Saskatoon International Raceway again this summer?" You bet. That was not a one-time thing. I was in Estevan at the dirt track. I was at the drag track in Saskatoon, our own track out here, the Motor Speedway. I am all in on racing forever. I love it. But, as I said, hockey's the thing. And Jason Tatarnic is the head coach and general manager of the Estevan Bruins. He joins us here in the bunker. Jason, pleased to finally actually meet you face-to-face.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Rod. It's great to see you in person, too. And
hell of a year.
It's been interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it has. So, folks, here's the thing. We're not just going to talk about the Estevan Bruins and the SJHL. This gentleman right here is from Niagara Falls, Ontario. He's coached all across the country. And I said he's going to speak for junior coaches across the country. Hope you don't mind.
Sure, sure.
He's coached in the Maritime Junior League, the BCJ, now the SJ. Played at Notre Dame. You told me that, right? You played at Notre Dame. Yeah. Brock University, Amsterdam Tigers, the Hull Thunder, Fayetteville Force, the Macon Whoopee. Remember that team? They don't call it that anymore, do they?
No, I don't think so.
But I remember the team and coached the Woodstock Slammers of the Maritime Junior League and then the Chilliwack Chiefs and now into Estevan. So see what I'm saying? This guy can talk about all of it. But and you brought gifts, by the way. I got to thank you for this, by the way. I'm always a fan of, where should I put it, do you think, Jason?
You can put it wherever you want.
Look at this gorgeous thing, folks. Estevan Bruins jersey. Bryce Platt, who's a personal fan. I'm a fan favorite of his. So thank you, Jason, for that. We will find a nice home for it here. So here we go. How's life as a junior coach 10 months into a pandemic?
That's a little difficult. It's challenging times. It's nothing we've seen before as coaches and hockey organizations. So it's tough because you're dealing with trying to get the season going. You're dealing with the mental and the physical well-being of your players and just a lot of organizing, and plus waiting for answers. That's probably the biggest thing. You're not in the know entirely. So that's what makes it difficult when you don't have the answers to give to your players.
Well, let's back up and go through this somewhat chronologically. Let's pick it up, let's say in August, where you think you're going to have a season or you finally get green-lighted. Well, you knew you were going to have a training camp, so you did, right? And then you ended up playing for a week or two. What were the protocols and mountains you had to move to play, given this climate?
Yeah, the first thing we had to do, Bill Child did a great job of creating some protocol guidelines. And so we had to create, I believe it was like a 40, 50-page document of all our protocols, what we would do with our players, how we're going to handle the buildings, travel, etc. It was pretty in depth and in detail. So that was the first hoop, getting those into government and getting those approved.
Did you have to do that, or did the board help you?
Yeah, it was a group effort. Danny Ewan did an excellent job on it. He took the lead. So it was quite in depth, and we finally got those in and waiting for approval. And we had to be approved individually by the government, each team. So it wasn't like SJHL here, the entire league's approved. It was individually, and we got that done. And then, we were able to get our season started. And, I think things went really well for us in terms of how we handled it and how we followed our protocols. And, we did have the one case during the season, but, Melfort did a great job. They contained it. It didn't spread throughout the team. And shortly after, we were shut down by the government.
What'd you get? How many games did you get in?
I believe we got 6 in total.
Okay, so over a period of 2 weeks, basically. So am I right in saying there were only 2 positive COVID cases in the entire SJHL in the fall?
Yeah, and actually one was before the season even started. It was even before training camp, just the prior. And so it didn't happen when we were actually in full operation or actually even started our training camps. So really we had the one case.
And did you not say that came from school? Not hockey?
It wasn't from the hockey rink. It wasn't from playing. It wasn't from his teammates. That's all I know about it. I guess there are some private policies in there, but from my knowledge, it didn't come from anything to do with the game.
So here come the questions from the viewers, and they're not, I don't think, that hard, Jason, but Kyle Outridge is in Cambridge, Ontario. That's why I said he brings a national view, okay? He says, do you think the overage limit should be raised by 1 year? It's obviously coming up a lot. So 21-year-olds will be allowed to play, or should. Where are you on that?
Yeah, there's an argument for sure that to have that happen. And, when you think about these players had their season shut down last year in March, and now they've only had 6 games. And these players are looking for opportunities to play, NCAA hockey, CIS, maybe even professional. So, have that taken away from you is a difficult thing. Could you do it? Yeah, you could do it. Will there be some logistics and that you have to, go through in terms of how do you phase that out and how many, etc. It's not an easy thing to do. It can be done. It's just if you are willing to do it, and if you think that's important for the 20-year-olds to have that opportunity, because we all know that schools have granted their seniors an extra year. So the opportunities for these players next year are going to be limited. So, it's going to be a tough road for them if they have to do that.
The gentleman, Dylan from Saskatoon, says, thanks, Rod. He's 100% hockey in his heart regarding the racing. Tony Cernick writes in, morning, coach, from the Energy City. That, by the way, is Estevan. So where are we now on a return to play? Do you know anything?
Well, the league developed a task force to come up with some proposals, some ideas, and we were able to talk to 2 gentlemen from government. I know it was a really good conversation. It was good to kind of get their mindset on things, and we had good discussions. And I think it was good for them because they kind of got a sense of what our environment is, how protected it is, and what our players are striving for. I think they were quite surprised how important this time of year for these players are. And we talked about the 20-year-olds. I explained to them how important this development year is for them. Myself as a player, that was probably the most important year for me. If I didn't have that year, I probably would never went on to play university hockey, etc. So I understand the importance of that year. So, I think we got that message across to them. And I think we got the message across to both how strict our protocols are and how limited we are with contact within our community and outside our community. So hopefully they're going to bring that back to, the people that need to hear it. And we'll go from there.
Connor Anderson watching in Yorkton, he says, I miss the SJHL games. Well, Connor, we all do. And I got to ask you this, Jason Tatarnic with us, head coach and GM of the Estevan Bruins. When you met with government, did you get a sense of, well, at least you didn't die? Or were they were sympathetic to your concerns? Yeah,
they were appreciative of the information we provided to them. And they said it's good information to have to bring back to the table for their group. And They understand how important hockey is to our communities, to the province, and they want to work with us to try and get this going. Obviously, they have some things that they have to watch for in terms of taking care of the public and the province, taking care of the people. So we understand that. So we just want to work with them to come up with a solution, with a scenario where we can get back playing.
As I mentioned, we've got some new viewers that have logged in, and Jason coached in Chilliwack, Woodstock of the Maritimes, and now Estevan. That is literally from coast to coast. And I've heard different things. Is the Maritime League playing?
They are. They're a little bit different. There's 3 provinces that play in that league, so each province has their own protocols for the COVIDs and when they shut down. But what's beneficial for them is they know if the case count goes over this number, they're not playing. So they can monitor it and they can watch. So they'll play, and if the case count is below, they'll continue to play. If it goes up, then the games are canceled that week. So they have a situation where they can monitor it and see, and they're getting games in, and then they'll have to take a break. So it's great for them. And as a former coach, I'm really happy for the coaches and the players out there that they can play.
How's your stress level been this year? I mean, I've been around coaches my whole life. You're responsible for 20 young men. That brings its own source of stress. This goes to another level, right? And trying to play, like, how have you been?
Yeah, the stress level is is more about your players. I'll be able to take care of myself and I'll go on living, but you're worried about those players that are missing opportunities. You're worried about players that, need this sport. If you talk to sports psychologists, like they really identify themselves as a hockey player. So when that's taken away from them, it's part of their life that's been taken away. So it's a tough adjustment for them. So that's the part I worry about. And there's some nights that you think about it quite a bit, and not much sleep is happening. But someone you gotta find some answers for these players. And I'm a person. I'm not going to give up. Maybe it's the Notre Dame hound in me, but I'll kick and scratch and keep going to try and get the season to go.
Lukter et emergo.
Yeah.
Struggle and emerge.
Yeah.
The Estevan Bruins are watching. And they say, Coach, they're waving, hey, Coach, rep that Platt jersey with pride, Roddy. Hashtag Regina Kit. I'll show it again. This Bryce Platt jersey that was brought in by Coach Tatarnic. Trust me, I told him we'll find a very nice place for it here in the bunker. Thomas Abbott writes in, Tank. He says, hockey is needed in all the towns affected. Time to get back at it. Wake up, Sask government. Great show today, Roddy. Thank you. I'm just trying to show the team's side of what's going on right now. And one of our viewers wanted to know what the government this province's government deemed dangerous about hockey. And I read the protocols. It was that you would be yelling as a coach, and that would put more droplets in the air, or their battle drills would be a problem. I'm not going to ask you to talk about this unless you want to, but just how dangerous hockey is in this COVID environment. And quite frankly, I don't go along with that, but I don't know where you are on that.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest concerns for them was travel. Traveling into
city to city.
Yeah, traveling to different communities, and I understand that. And but I think the big thing is for them was to understand what our travel looked like, and I explained it to them that I used the Melville trip, for example. Our players, went on the bus. They had their masks on. We came into contact with a bus driver, and the bus driver usually waited outside away from the players when they walked in. And then we arrived at the rink in Melville. And we didn't come in contact with any of the staff, etc. When we arrived, we went and played our game, came in contact with 20 other players, officials, left, came in contact with the person that delivered the food, and went back to Estevan. So, just demonstrating, we're not really coming in contact with that many people. And I haven't seen a case or proven that it's been transmitted by competition. So, we had those many games with no cases being transmitted during the games. So I think that's a safe area as well, because there's no data to prove that it's not for us. So that was our biggest concern. I think we just had to tell them, this is what our travel looks like, and this is how many people we come into contact with.